And that one liner, we broadcasted everywhere, mainly on the website. And then all of a sudden, we booked around 80 calls that month.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today is a brand new rock star. Super excited to dig into what he has to offer and what value he has to add. He is the CEO of Cleverly, really cool agency, Nick Verity. Thanks so much for joining me, man.
Excited to be here, Kirby. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we talked about this. You have an agency. You run a successful agency that helps people get leads, which, you know, if you're in sales or your business any kind, we all need leads. So can you talk about how important a website was to getting your business off the ground started?
Yeah, there's two reasons for this. We were at around 10K MRR for about a year and a half before we discovered this book called Building a Story Brand.
It's a great book.
By Donald Miller. And we changed our messaging on the whole website, basically just making it crystal clear. So our main catchphrase at the time was scale your leads on LinkedIn for $99 a month. And that one liner, we broadcasted everywhere, mainly on the website. And then all of a sudden we booked around 80 calls that month from traffic we were getting off LinkedIn, Google Ads, and a couple other sources. But basically our conversion rate on our website went from like 1% to north of 6 or 7%.
Wow.
It's lower now, but that changed everything because it made Google Ads profitable. It made even our outbound outreach better because people would like click and go to your website. And so mainly that offer and messaging changed everything for our business in terms of like getting leads for ourselves.
It's funny. I do the show every week, and I hear about Donald Miller a lot because, again, his framework is really powerful, and I think it makes a ton of sense. Do you think that it was just that one liner that put it together, or was it that you were already delivering on that promise? It was just you hadn't put it into an easily understandable framework.
I think it was twofold. To be honest, we charged more before. But we said, hey, we have no traction. Let's just deliver at cost and get a bunch of social proof and momentum. So we also dropped our price, which for us helped a lot. In combination with the clear messaging, I think it just created this perfect storm.
That's amazing. Cool. Sorry, I know I went off script there, but I was just kind of curious because I've heard that so much, and I'm always curious to dig in. So LinkedIn, you talked about LinkedIn. That's a great platform. That's one of my favorite social media channels. But I think it's underutilized in the business space, right? So how can people use LinkedIn to create leads without being over the top, without being overly salesy, without being in your face?
Well, the good news is it's pretty easy to stand out if you look at a lot of the fluff and noise on LinkedIn. So I always suggest to people that they get LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's $99 a month, and it's main purpose is you can access their whole database of users and build ideal lists of your niche prospects. Like any list you'd want to go after, it's super easy to build and save those searches. You cannot do that with LinkedIn Regular.
Okay.
And then after that, I suggest people just get started like sending connection requests. So what we do that cuts through the noise is we'll build niche lists. Like for instance, I live in LA, so I'd build like lists of people in my local city, Santa Monica, that own a business. And then my connection request is the same to all of them. Saw you run a business out here in Santa Monica. I've lived out here for 12 years. Let's connect. So I always recommend people just build these niche lists, one title at a time, one city at a time. And they'd be surprised to know how many people actually accept those requests that they want to eventually sell to. Usually it's in the 30 to 50% range of connection requests you send will accept. So that's the first thing, is just like get started and get that initial dopamine rush of your prospects accepting.
Yeah.
And then instead of pitching hard in touch two, my biggest piece of advice to people is just to start conversations with people. So a good way to do that is look at their profile and ask them like a discovery question that you might ask on a sales call and a demo.
Right.
Those are usually good ways for people to just start talking. And it's like a breath of fresh air from just the connect and pitch that people typically ignore.
Dude, I'm so excited that you said that, Nick, because there are times where I'll get that connection request, right? And you're like, okay, I don't know them, but it made sense. Hey, we're both in the same area, whatever. And I swear you hit accept and bing, there's a pitch in your inbox immediately. And I'm like, okay, like take me to dinner. Let's start a conversation. So I love that you're talking about starting a conversation first. I think that makes a ton of sense. So you manage and work with a lot of customers. You talked about that already. So what tools do you use to try to stay on top of everything?
Yeah, so we have a little over 1,300 clients, and
Wow.
I think around 300 clients we started to break. Like our time when a customer paid to when they launched their campaign was 3 to 4 weeks. They get lost in basically just the minutia, and they'd ask for refunds. And so the first big tool we implemented was Monday.com.
Okay.
It's nothing crazy. It's just like Asana or anything, but we basically created like an assembly line. So someone fills out a type form questionnaire after paying. They got automatically forwarded through Zapier to a calendar call to book a call with the account manager. And then that auto populates a row in Monday.com where the account manager just needs to click like had call or didn't have call. Right. Copy is done, ready for launch, and then like specialists go in and launch the campaign. So basically, Zapier and Monday.com, stitched with some other tools, allowed us to create this assembly line that creates, number one, like a God view so we can see where every client is in the onboarding process. Mm-hmm. And then all of our account managers and all the accounts they manage, like they each manage on average 140 clients. And so it's hard to keep track, but this assembly line we created on Monday has just been like absolutely massive. And now we're launching clients in under 5 days.
Wow.
And so I think just like the power of Zapier, none of us know how to code. It's just Zapier and Monday.com allowing us to stitch all these tools together.
I love that. I think that's really good. And one of the things that I've been preaching right now to our team is speed, speed, speed. And it kind of sounds like that's exactly what you were talking about. It's like when it took a long time, people start looking for a reason to get out. They start second guessing themselves. But if you can get them where they need to go quickly, I think everybody wins. Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Final question, man. This has been great. What's the best piece of advice you've gotten while growing your business?
Okay, so the first is like sales above all else. I think most businesses just never scale because they can't get leads and sales.
Yeah.
But then number two for me was delegate and give up control. So like I always had the false narrative that, and credit to my business partner for forcing this, but that I was the best at creating LinkedIn campaigns and I need to work with every single client. And while that might be true, we would have never, ever been able to get past like 100 clients with that mentality. Yeah. And so it was like, suck it up, hire someone. And because of that, like I've been able to pull myself out of the day-to-day. Mm-hmm. And now I'm just working on strategy. And I think a lot of business owners, because they're such good operators, just get stuck in the day-to-day and don't ever give up control and therefore never scale.
Dude, I think that's super powerful. There's a great proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that many of us who started businesses, you started a business because you trust yourself to do the work. And it's hard to let go. But man, it's the only way that you can take it to another level. So I think that's really good advice, man. All right. Well, so real quickly, where can folks find you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, 2 places. Add me on LinkedIn. I'll accept everyone. It's Nick Verity. But then also for our website, go to cleverly.co, and it clearly explains all our services there.
That's cool, man. Well, thank you so much for reaching out and for doing this, Nick. We'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Kirby.
You bet. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.